The city of Cape Town has become a global city ranked amongst the best in the world, also associated with its expensive eateries. However, visitors can also explore some historical sites and local traditional events. Ziniko Mhlaba joins us now to take us through some of the places that are not just about tourism, but also tell the country's history. Ziniko, good afternoon to you. We've been following your travels through the country. What are you seeing now?
Well, a very good morning to you, Stephen, once again. Well, today we're focusing, on exploring the city of Cape Town under budget. So necessarily, it doesn't mean that when you want to visit Cape Town, you need to have budgeted like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rands or even millions. Well, you can still, get more information about the beauty of this city, but also get some history about how the city of Cape Town was founded, and you can do that within or under budget. There are places where you can visit for free, but there are those places you can just visit for maybe a minimum of payment of entry of about 100 rands, which is very much reasonable if you are someone who's coming from outside the Western Cape province. So we're in one of those places that holds a very, historic, profile of South Africa, specifically the establishment of the city of Cape Town. We're at the Good Hope Castle. This is one of the first establishments which was, created or formed by the people who settled here in the 1600s. We know that the city of Cape Town is very much aligned or linked to the Dutch settlers back in the 1600s. And this is one of the places or a castle that was founded by those people who got to the city of Cape Town during those years. So, however, now it's been used for multi-purpose. It also accommodates now some of the heritage institutions such as Ziniko here in Cape Town, but also other purposes where people can just walk in and explore and read and get more information about the history of this town and how it was formed. But, let me bring in Mr. Ngeu now, who's the acting CEO of the Castle of Good Hope. Mr. Ngeu, thank you very much for your time. I would like you to talk to someone who's coming from Johannesburg, coming from the Eastern Cape, about why should they care about this place, but also just to debunk that perception that in order for you to visit Cape Town, you must have a lot of money. Talk to us about the affordability of exploring information, but getting more historical, background about the city of Cape Town on its own.
Thank you, sir. The Castle of Good Hope was built in 1666. So this year is 359, and I think in January next year, it will be 360 years old, built by the Dutch East India Company as a refreshment station. It's a five-pointed fort, often called the castle, but it's a fort because it was built for defense purposes. Often mistaken with Jan van Riebeeck's fort just across the road, which was built much earlier and got destroyed because it was built of mud and sticks. It's one of the most affordable tourist attraction places in Cape Town because for adults you pay about 50 rand entrance, 25 rand for kids and South African pensioners with a valid South African identity document. And there's lots of attractions on site for both people who are interested in history, in the architecture of the place, people who are interested in the military heritage, because that's what we preserve, the military heritage, and promote the reconciliation as a nation in South Africa. So there's space for children as well, because there's ghost tours. There's about 9 museums that detail the history of the Cape and invariably the history of South Africa.
Sorry to cut you, Mr. Ngeu. We're living in a digital era right now. We know that there's a generation of young people that are much more involved in digital content. How have you been able to really, still attract people? You see a lot of young people moving in and out here, of people of different races. How has that issue of digital era affected, the influx of people and the general upkeep of this place?
Yes, as a national heritage site, there are rules that we need to abide by in terms of digitization. What we have done now as a management of the castle is to install fiber, so to enable us to go digital, so that you can book your tours, or you can do online tours. You can book your tours. You can do
online booking and all that.
Yeah, you can do online bookings, and then you can do your tour on your own in the comfort of your home. So that's where we are going. Yeah.
I mean, not to sound political, but this month is all about reconciliation. How is the castle or the management of the institution playing its part in terms of, having those conversations about the history of this place, knowing the history of South Africa generally, but also, we see a lot of races coming in and going here. What has been the attitude of those that are coming here once they explore and get the history of this place?
One of the mandates of the entity that manages the castle on behalf of the Minister of Defence and Military Veterans is to ensure public access, taking the castle to the people, debunking the history of pain and suffering, empowering the locals in taking ownership of the castle, because the castle has a historic, painful past, and we cannot dwell on that more. In as much as we want to remember, we also need to move forward in the spirit of reconciliation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's Mr. Ngeo Stephen there, who's the acting CEO of the castle. But just to talk about the rich history and also mentioning the fact that this also has a military history. And talking about military history, the canyons that you see here by the gate, these are some of the canyons that were used, to protect the castle from the so-called invaders who would come and try to really attack the Dutch settlers who were, housed in this particular place. But also, there's a huge hole up there on our left-hand side. This was the first foundation, as Mr. Ngeo said, that this castle was built in the 1600s. Those stones still remain, and you can see those small canyons there at that wall. And at the back of that wall, you see the beautiful Table Mountain. But also, it also talks to the issue of how strategic the settlers were in terms of identifying a spot and the positioning of these particular castles. So these are some of the places visitors can explore when they hit Cape Town. But also, if you already arrived in Cape Town, you've run out of places to visit to, this is one of the places you can explore. It's very affordable, just under 100 rands. And of course, if you're a pensioner, you can pay about 25 rands. So we'll keep updating the viewers about where they can go, but also the type of content or information they're likely to get at those different destinations.
Ziniko Mhlaba, thank you very much indeed for that update. Just a reminder of some of our very early history there in Cape Town. Ziniko, thank you.